from WBBZ-TV Sports. It's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Beat the Champ. We're at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls, back where it all started, Sue. Our first show was here in January of 2016. This is actually the third time we're back here, and every time we've been here, it's always been outstanding bowling.
Yeah, this has always been a place that the score has been very good. Be a little interesting today because the shot might be a little bit different, but this is the place where we've seen stars started, right? And we know so many more bowlers now that have made their name and beat the champ.
Yeah, and the latest guy trying to continue to make his name is our returning champion, Kevin Bianco, coming in on a 4-match winning streak within distance of our Beat the Champ record for consecutive wins.
Yes, well, you know, being the Masters champion, that's always been a sign of being, you know, at the top of your game, and we're going to see if he can carry that through.
He's got some good challengers coming up this month, some great bowlers on our show today. Back to where it all started, where you learned how to master the art of bowling scoring, Janelle.
I know. Our first trip here at Rapids, Sue actually taught me how to score bowling. I really had no idea what was going on, no idea what I was getting myself into, and now, third time here, I couldn't be happier.
I'm not sure any of us knew what we were getting ourselves into, but we're excited to be here. Our third stop at the Rapids Bowling Center, so let's get rolling. And Kevin Bianco's first challenger is veteran bowler and familiar Beat the Champ named George Szczublewski. So this is not going to be easy for Kevin to pull off a 5th win in a row, because as we've seen from George Szczublewski, who comes in with an overall Beat the Champ record of 5-3, he knows how to bowl and he knows how to win on this show.
Oh no, George is one of the premier bowlers in this area, and very much a student of the game. So he's done his due diligence in learning what needs to be done.
And he's showed his learning is proving to be beneficial with a first frame strike. So now we flip it over to Kevin Bianco, our returning champion, coming off the impressive performance last month at Alley Brandt Lanes in Lockport, where he figured out, really the only guy to figure out how to handle the crazy, difficult lane conditions at Alley Brandt. As he wins 4 in a row, and beyond that, Sue, he averaged 225 in those 4 wins when most of the other bowlers were struggling to break 200.
I know, I'll always be one to say that this is a great game and anybody can do it. However, when you reach a certain level, you can average 200 and still be very, very good. But then there's that next level, and Kevin has taken himself to that next level. So adjusting to those difficult lane conditions, he made them look easy.
I averaged about 200 in last week's show with you, didn't I? Somewhere around there?
I think.
Maybe all 3 matches combined.
We put our
200?
minds to it, and we got the job done.
Yeah, we hope you had a chance to see last week's show where I inflicted Western New York with my bowling skills, but thanks to good coaching and having a good partner here, we actually were the champions of the challenge. So a lot of fun. Hope you caught that show, and thankfully I think I can safely say you won't have to see me bowling on TV anymore anytime
Yeah,
soon.
that was our own little version of King Ping and the Big Lebowski going on last week, I think.
All right, we are striking our way through it here. First 2 frame strikes for both guys, George and Kevin. So these guys are off to a good start. 5th show for George Szczublewski in the history of Beat the Champ. I mentioned 5 wins and 3 losses. We haven't seen him in a while. We have not seen him since January when he bowled down at Jamestown.
I know, not for lack of talent, that's for sure. I'm sure he's been busier doing other things. But, these two, in talking to the bowlers, qualifying scores a little bit lower than they normally are. And in talking to the bowlers, they said the lanes were a bit challenging, that there was a little dry to their left and oil to their right, which is the bowler's nightmare, of course.
Well, let's talk about that, because if you were with us for the last month up at Alley Brandt Lanes, we talked an awful lot about what the lane conditions were doing and the challenges it presented. And frankly, as I said to you, I enjoyed it. I thought it was something very interesting, and as good as these guys, and that's the first pin that is held up, a third frame number 10 for Kevin Bianco. As good as these guys are, it's neat to see them challenge. So, coming off that challenging oil condition, the sport shot NCAA pattern that we saw at Alley Brandt, what are these guys dealing with here today? And you've already given us a little insight.
Right. Well, by all means, it's a house shot, but it appears to be, from talking to the bowlers, a modified house shot, which means it's still the same house pattern they normally run, but it's been modified to be not as high scoring. But it might be difficult to tell in this match because these two guys are at the top of their game and very well schooled and making them look as easy as any house shot that we've seen. So it'll be interesting to see as the day goes on how the bowlers, to that shot right there, Kevin got in just a little bit. He's been looking a little bit left to right. He has been looping it, so to speak, but his target has been a little bit right through the heads, through the front of the lane. That one he got in, going straight up the boards and went high.
All right,
so that's kind of what we're saying here.
So the 3-6-10 picket fence on the right-hand side here, a spare opportunity for Kevin Bianco. George Szczublewski has done nothing but strike through his first 3 frames. Let's see what Kevin can do. Nicely done. Good spare there for Kevin Bianco, our defending Obenauer Masters champion, and last month was his first appearance here on Beat the Champ, and all he did was rattle off the 4 in a row.
Right. Well, I think that's where these modified house shots, NCAA patterns, that's where you're going to see. That's where you're going to see the difference is when the bowler makes a little bit of an error, it's going to show on the lanes. Where the house patterns are soft and they'll let you make a little bit of an error and you won't see a difference in the ball reaction.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Hi, I'm with George Szczublewski, our first competitor here on Beat the Champ. This is the middle of August. Have you been working, not normally a time where bowlers are really at the top of their game, so what have you done this summer to keep busy?
I went to Vegas and bowled the Senior Masters and also the USBC tournament in late May, early June. So I was there about 10 days. Came back, took a couple weeks off, and then back bowling the last couple weeks, working with Brad Angelo in the Bowl U Clinic, and doing the sweepers on Tuesdays at Transit and sweeper at Friday at airport.
So it's not necessarily true that bowlers take the summer off.
No, there's actually a lot to do. There's a lot you can do during the summer, definitely for practice and developing.
Yes, and I know how good that sweeper is over at Transit. Keeps everybody pretty sharp. So.
Yeah, all sport shots. Tuesday sports shot, Friday's sports shot, and Brad helps us work on ball motion. His ball motion clinic's tremendous. I can't recommend it highly enough, and it's been paying off as of late. Hopefully it pays off today, but Kevin's going to be tough.
Yep, so we've got 2 Bowl U students competing against each other today.
Yes, and Kevin's, Kevin's the best. He's the Buffalo Masters holder right now, so we'll see what we can do.
We'll see how that practice pays off for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, bowl well.
Thank you.
I'm here with our returning champion, Kevin Bianco. Kevin, you don't get an opportunity to qualify on the condition as the incoming champion. How much of a disadvantage do you think that is?
I think it's definitely a disadvantage. I haven't seen the way the lanes have transitioned. I definitely have less experience in this building than most others in the area, and so hopefully we get matched up and can throw some strikes.
So what's the preparation for something like that?
Well, I'm just going to go on the practice lanes, throw a bunch of balls, and see which one looks the best, and then hopefully it looks good on the TV pair. And we win the match.
So did you pull everything out of the closet to bring today so you could adjust?
Not everything. I got a couple, but hopefully one of them looks good. That's all you need is one.
Well, you're bowling against one of your other Bowl U students, George Szczublewski, because he's been working as well. So it's going to be a face-off against what you've learned.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he knows the same things I know, so I guess it's down to making shots at this point.
Okay, well, pressure's on you as Masters champion and incoming Beat the Champ champion. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
The record for consecutive victories here on Beat the Champ is 6, and that is held by 4 different gentlemen. Mike Zarcone, Matt White, Tyler Molina twice. Well, 3 gentlemen 4 times would be the right way to say it. And then 3 guys have done 5 in a row. Michael Kemp, Joe Chifa right here at the Rapids Bowling Center, and Dave Tolkaz last month up at Alley Brandt after Manor 2 before that as well. So obviously, a win in this match would be 5 in a row for Kevin Bianco, and there's a strike in the 8th.
Okay, that's a great shot there because this match was even in the 6th, but because of George's open in the 7th, gave Kevin the opportunity to go ahead. So now we're looking at a 13-pin advantage for Kevin, so he's going to want to post as many strikes as he can because he can shut him out by striking out. So Now George has to really put a strike here to keep himself in this match.
228 average currently for George Szczublewski. Gonna have to work hard to get to that here today. Better shot, a little bump of the 7-pin, but it wouldn't go down.
So these lanes might be changing a little bit too, because you're going to get some carry down that's going to be created. So the ball's going a little longer for him, not rolling up as much as it did in the beginning.
And don't forget, every month our qualifying top qualifier in our top 24, and that's an ugly gutter for George Szczublewski. And an open again. I was going to say top 24 qualifier each month wins a television from Dirt Cheap TV valued at $500. Chuck Jagodzinski was the winner, and we'll see Chuck later on in this show. He was the winner here at the Rapids Bowling Center. So that's another critical moment there in the 8th frame for George.
Well, George's feet have gotten very fast. His tempo has gotten away from him. That shot too, his feet got too fast. Ball gets away from him. You can't hit your target well if you're not on time to the line.
All right, so very interesting.
Better shot there.
Great shot. You know, I don't know how much everybody watches the feet. You do because you know your sport. But what are the signs that something's amiss with the feet?
Because when your feet get fast, it's going to throw your swing off. So your swing's going to be in the wrong spot because you have to. The swing has to be going through as your foot is sliding through for your final step. So if your feet get too fast, your feet are there and your swing isn't. Same thing here. Both these guys are getting a little bit quick, and they're getting to the line before their swing is, and you can't hit your target that way. So again, he missed to the right, went light.
Yeah, but he knew it right away too. You can see the body line.
Absolutely.
These guys are so good that they know it as soon as it leaves their hand, and you at home know it based on their body language. So here's a difficult spare pickup for Bianco in the 9th frame, and he got 4 of the 5, not bad. But still an open for him in the 9th.
So this is really a match because with George having that strike up, by doubling in the 10th, he's virtually making this a 2-pin match. So this is a big 10th frame.
10th frame for Kevin Bianco, looking for win number 5 in a row.
So the key for both of them here is who's going to keep their feet slow, which is all in the push away. Very good there. Timing was good, but he missed his target to the right.
So he was too far to the right when he threw it, so it didn't cut in enough right to left.
Actually, he's looking a little bit right of the 3rd arrow, which is he's about the 13 board. That one he missed all the way, about 5 boards right of that. He hit 10, 9 on that one, so he missed his target.
So you can see this one's still in the air as you view the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Spare opportunity and a good pickup in the 10th frame for Kevin Bianco. So one more for him to post the final score, and then George will know exactly A, if he has a chance, and B, what he needs to do.
Right, well, George is going to have to throw the first one for sure. Count matters here. He's going to want to get as many as he can. He wants to force George to double.
So Kevin Bianco grabs the 9 pins on his final throw, and he will post up his final score of 202, as you can see on the Castellone scoreboard.
So because of his pin count, he is forcing George to have to double.
Okay, so we're going to need to see strikes in the first 2 here from George Szczublewski in order for him to win this match and end the winning streak of Bianco. First throw, 10th frame, George Szczublewski. Didn't like it, didn't get what he needed, and it's going to be a victory for Kevin Bianco. I think that's the overriding theme of this match is these guys know exactly when they haven't done what they needed to do as soon as they throw it.
Well, again, we talked about the fact that the first couple frames, they made them look kind of easy, but then this condition of not being a typical house shot started to show up. And we're going to watch lane 28 throughout the day because it looks like there's a hang spot. So that means when the ball gets to it, it doesn't turn over. Mm-hmm. And it's caused angst for both these 2 guys right here. So we'll have to see how that plays out during the course of the day.
I really like when these guys are being challenged, and it's partly because you have such a great handle on it that I'm learning, and I think everyone at home is learning some of the nuances of this sport based on not making it as easy on these guys as it normally is. So 188 is the final score, so it's a 202 to 188 win for Kevin Bianco, his 5th consecutive victory. We'll talk to George and get ready for our next match when Beat the Champ returns to the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls.
I think
Great start for you, George. The finish didn't go the way you wanted to. Sue talked a lot about your feet getting fast. Is that something you noticed?
Yeah, that's my tendency. When I get a little excited, I get a little amped up. My feet tend to get fast, and the right lane was definitely tighter down lane, so got a little fast, just trying to hit the ball a little bit hard, kept throwing it through the spot.
All right.
Made some bad shots.
Jake from the Rapids Bowling Center here to try to make you feel a little better. Jake?
That is yours, George. Nice bowling, buddy.
Appreciate it.
All right, so our winner, Kevin Bianco, goes for his 6th consecutive victory when we return on Beat the Champ.
I'm here on Beat the Champ with Dana Voytovich. We have not seen your uncle in a while. What's happened with him?
He's busy with work, and he normally takes the summers off from bowling.
Will he be here today to cheer you on?
I think he's coming today.
All right, so the last time we saw you was in the same place at Rapids. Is this one of your favorite places to bowl?
I mean, I don't bowl here often, but it's been friendly to me for this show.
Absolutely. So tell us what you've done this summer as far as bowling.
I bowl Tuesday nights at Transit in the summer sweeper, and also on Friday at airports. They have a sweeper over there.
And what makes you interesting is you're a two-hander, and we'll see a little bit of that today. Am I right?
Of course.
All right, so good luck to you.
Thank you, Sue.
Match number 2 here at the Rapids Bowling Center. The opponent for Kevin Bianco is Dana Voytovich. And there you get your look at Dana, making his 2nd appearance here on Beat the Champ. 1 win and 1 loss. Matter of fact, the last time he bowled on the show was right here at the Rapids Bowling Center in November of 2016. He was one of the victims of the win streak of Joe Chifa, which is now Kevin Bianco tied with Chifa, among a few others, at the consecutive win level. So there's the start for Dana Voytovich. So Dana has a chance to end this 5-match winning streak for Kevin Bianco, and if not, Kevin will tie Zarcone, White, and Molina for the longest win streak on the show.
Yes, like I said, this show has definitely made some stars and made
Sure
some
has.
household names here, and a lot more familiarity for the talented bowlers in this area.
So a first frame spare for Dana Voytovich as we get a look at our first two-handed bowler we've seen in about a month or so. We get him every once in a while, not all that often. And now Kevin Bianco. Now you notice something a little different. Kevin's starting on lane 28 here, unlike the way he did in the first match.
Again, he's having a little bit of trouble on lane 28 because it's got a hang spot on it. He seems to be missing his target a little bit to the right, and the ball's hanging up on him. So
explain that a little more for like literally a spot on the lane where the ball is supposed to hook and curve and it's not?
Correct. Typically in that area of the lane, those boards are drier, and that's the typical house shot. If you miss to the right, there's going to be drier boards to help your ball recover. If you miss to the left, there's going to be more oil to keep your ball from hooking too much and kind of setting up in the pocket for you. In this case, it looks worse on lane 28, where there's a strip of oil in their hook spot. So the ball hits it and wiggles and doesn't make its turn, and then when it finally does turn, it's light.
Right, and of course, again, for the non-serious bowlers out there, and correct me if I'm wrong, the ball grips better in the dry spots and does more of what you want it to do because it grips better. Correct?
It's a matter of friction and oil. So like you can picture in oil, it'll slide, and in dry, when there's no oil to make it slide, the ball just starts to turn over because
Gotcha.
there's no oil to keep it from.
Right, which you want to do at certain points of the lane.
Right. As a bowler, you seek out the dry boards. That's where you see the ball hook.
Right.
So
dry is better for bowlers.
Well, not too dry, but you need the dry to make the ball roll up and hit the pin stronger.
Right. And almost the 7-10 split there for Dana Voytovich, but he got the 7-pin to go down, so he'll leave himself the 10-pin here in lane number 2. Dana Voytovich is 21 years old. He's from Cheektowaga, a 227 average. He is a student at UB, works at the Spare Time Bowling Center in his spare time, a former champion at ECC, and the name is familiar because we've had his uncle Greg on our show many times. Matter of fact, Greg is here in the stands watching his nephew bowl.
And, Greg's acted as Dana's coach and has given him a lot of good advice. As a younger bowler, as a new bowler coming up, you should always heed the advice of someone who's come before you and has seen it all before, because it's very important to have mentors in this game.
Yeah, Greg said hello a little bit right before we started the taping. I said, Greg, we haven't seen you on the show in a while. He goes, I don't bowl in the summer. He goes,
No,
this is my time off.
He's a softball player, and that's his time to play, to do that.
So again, that time a little too much hook to the left, and it leaves those 3 pins lined up on the right for Voytovich.
I think with the lanes a little bit more challenging than like this, it's a good time to talk about bowlers learning how to line up, because I've seen in my history of helping bowlers out when they've been struggling a bit, that bowlers just really want to play, or are used to playing second arrow. And when that's not working for them, they really have no idea where to go from there. And it's interesting that, as to the viewers, that if that second arrow isn't working for you, to pick up some tips from this show and learn how to adjust. Doesn't mean that the lanes are bad just because the 10th board isn't working. It means that the challenge is there for you to figure out how to play the lanes and make them score for you.
All right, so Kevin's got to find a little groove here. I don't think he's found it yet. That's not a bad throw there in the third, but he's gone open and spare through the first 2 here, and there's the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard that does not show a strike yet in this match between a pair of 21-year-olds and 2 of the outstanding up-and-coming bowlers here in Western New York.
Well, it's interesting because Kevin has still not figured out that hang spot on lane 28. He's still hitting it to some extent, and he needs to either get, in this case, he's going to get to the right of it, or he's going to stay to the left of it, because he needs to get away from that area of the lane.
Now over to lane number 27, 4th frame for Kevin. And that's his nicest throw of the match.
As you can see on lane 27, he gets that ball out there to the right, and it turns around and recovers.
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
That's not happening on lane 28.
Because he's throwing it in the same place, that's where he wants to throw it, but because of that hang spot and the oil conditions, he's not getting the right to left curve to get right in the pocket.
Right, you've always got that challenge of muscle memory, because once you open up your swing like that, it's hard to close it back off again. So, technically he's repeating shots. There's just a strip of oil on lane 28 that's keeping the ball from hooking.
And there's the nicest throw of the match for Dana Voytovich. He bowls on Mondays at Lancaster with his uncle Greg, bowls on Wednesdays at Spare Time, where he also works, as I mentioned. And I also mentioned to you the singles and the all-events champion and a junior college national at the junior college national tournament as a member of the ECC Cats bowling team. Fine tradition of bowling at ECC that goes a long way back here in Western New York.
It sure does. Those were the days where I came up through the ranks, when Buff State and ECC were so competitive with one another, and Canisius had a team, and we talked to Tyler Molina. He got that team going again, But when I was going up to the college ranks, it was so competitive. And we've seen a lot of these guys on this show. They've managed to keep their careers up all this time.
So it's a decent lead at the moment for Dana Voytovich, but we certainly are early in this match. This is a 5th frame spare for Dana Voytovich. But Kevin Bianco, other than that strike he just threw in the 4th, trying to find himself a little bit here. Again, a chance to tie the record of a 6th consecutive win for Kevin Bianco.
Well, this is a big shot for Kevin because he can tie this match up by striking here, and this lane's been such a challenge for him. He moved inside of his target. Great shot.
There you go.
So when I said he is either going to move to the right of that or to the left of that and stay away from that 10 board, he chose to move to the left of it. Never got out to that spot again. In this case, he moved everything in, stayed away from that hang spot, and struck as a result of it.
Terrific adjustment, showing you the mental part of the game, and a well done maneuver by Kevin Bianco. Let's see if he gets himself on a roll now. I would say that's a roll. 3 in a row for Kevin Bianco.
Well, from a competitor's standpoint, because I've been on both sides of the coin of what we're seeing here, Kevin had to make a move. He also moved in on lane 27. He took what he did on 28 and he reflected it onto 27 and hit the pocket again and struck. So in this case, it looks like he's found his groove. So it's going to be a challenge for Dana now to keep up with him.
6th frame, Dana Voytovich, nice strike to answer.
Great shot.
Big baseball fan is Dana Voytovich, goes to a lot of games throughout the summer. Now we know what his Uncle Greg does when he's not bowling in the summer. He goes to ball games, Bison's, Major League games, AA games, a lot of it with his nephew Dana hanging around there with him.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's passed along his bowling and he's passed along his love for baseball as well.
As long as he doesn't pass around his bowling shoes tradition, which if you've been with us from the start of the show, you know all about the legendary Voytovich bowling shoes. Maybe that's why we haven't seen Greg in a while.
Maybe his shoes fell
Maybe those
apart.
things finally fell apart. And that one just did not have the rotation.
Well, that
Again,
was
the two-hander with a different challenge, different speeds and things like that as well, too.
Well, I'm going to have you watch because now everybody's target is really inside, right around to the right of the 4th arrow and to the left of the 3rd arrow. So we're looking at maybe 17, 18. That's where they're playing. And if you looked, Dana's ball rolled over like 10. So that was way right of the target area that these bowlers need to play now that as the lanes have evolved through the day.
Nice spare recovery in the 7th frame for Dana Voytovich. And now Kevin Bianco picks up the ball, drives the hands, approaches the lane. Look at him hug the left side of the lane. That's the adjustment that you talked about. 7th frame for
Okay, so
Kevin Bianco.
We're going to be looking for him to roll the ball between the 3rd and 4th arrow. Right there. Perfect.
Perfect. Good ball speed. We've got the ball speed on the monitors here at the Rapids Bowling Center, over 16 miles per hour, equivalent to within a mile per hour of what Dana is doing as a two-hander as well also.
Yep, this is all about lining up and hitting your target. So once you find your spot on the lane that seems to be working for you, it's easier to relax and keep your feet a little bit steady. When you're fishing around and get nervous.
Got a little to the left on that one.
It hooked up a little high for him. It wasn't a bad shot, but it just snapped up a little high. So he'll make an adjustment off that next time he's up.
Looking for the spare in the 8th frame. Holding the lead right now, Kevin Bianco. Got the spare.
You know, it's important to remember that Kevin did not get an opportunity to qualify on these lanes. So he's coming out here and he's adjusting with the lanes on the fly. the other bowlers got to bowl their 3-game qualifier and kind of had an idea of how the lanes broke down as they went along. So he is, although the champion, a tiny bit at a disadvantage because he did not get to qualify in this condition.
And our next match features Chuck Jagodzinski, who was the top qualifier here at the Rapids Bowling Center, and by virtue of that wins the Dirt Cheap TV valued at $500. Good strike in the 8th for Dana Voytovich.
Great shot. Isn't it interesting, though, it's one of the things we have definitely seen. Sometimes we'll see a lane that, you know, has some hiccups for all of the bowlers. But then because of the different styles that we see, in this case, Dana has no problem at all with lane 28 because he's got a different style. And
he's working a different part of the lane.
And he went to the right. He's to the right of that target we talked about, with that hang spot. And, you know, because of Kevin's hand speed and because of how he throws it, he had to move to the left.
I thought that one looked pretty good, but again, it's the 4-pin holds up a little bit there for Dana Voytovich.
It did, but the back ends are a little snappy on lane 27 because, you know, they're changing as they go, and you saw the same thing happen to Kevin on lane 27. So
currently a 1-pin difference in this match. So now Kevin Bianco to the 9th frame. Can he pull off a win and tie the record for most consecutive victories? Mark held by Mike Zarcone, Matt White. Tyler Molina did it twice, 6 in a row. Kevin's got 5. That'll certainly help. Good strike in the 9th frame, so Kevin Bianco moves over to the 10th.
actually, Kevin here has a 19-pin lead.
Chance to capitalize on that here in the 10th frame. Almost put this match away here. Nice strike, 10th frame, Kevin Bianco. That is 6 of the last 7 frames. And that is going to get Kevin Bianco his 6th consecutive victory. It's going to be a win for Bianco over Voytovich. $223 to 184, the final score as Kevin Bianco defeats Dana Voytovich. You're bowling one of the hottest guys in Western New York. What was that challenge like?
Oh, I think he's one of the best bowlers in the area, so it was a tough match for sure.
That was 6 in a row now for Kevin Bianco. What is it that makes his game so good?
He's just so smooth up to the line, and he rarely ever misses, and he's very solid.
All right, enjoy some baseball here before the summer's out. Jake, you might be able to get him some baseball tickets where you're going to hand them there.
Cheers, buddy. Nice bowling.
All right, Dana Voytovich goes down to defeat against Kevin Bianco, has a chance to set a record. Next match against Chuck Jagodzinski is coming next.
I'm here with Chuck Jagodzinski today at Beat the Champ, a fellow Polish person with an easy name to say. So we haven't seen you for a while, but you are one of our winningest bowlers. Tell us a little bit about qualifying.
Well, the shot was a little tougher than normal. By the cut, you can tell it was a little tougher, but I did pretty good because I won the TV. Thank you, Dirt Cheap TV.
Excellent for you. That's excellent. So tell us what ball you're gonna throw today.
The cold black. If it's a normal house shot, if it's not, who knows what ball.
All right, we're gonna talk a little bit about that while you're bowling, and we wish you all the luck today.
Thank you.
It is match number 3 as Kevin Bianco looks to continue the win streak, but standing in his way is one of the best bowlers in Western New York in Chuck Jagodzinski, making his 9th appearance here on Beat the Champ, an overall record of 8 wins and 5 losses, and we know how good Chuck is, and he's been very good here at the Rapids Bowling Center. He was the top qualifier coming into this month's shows, which earned him the television from Dirt Cheap TV, valued at $500. So if Kevin wants to set a record, he's going to do it by knocking off one of the best guys out there.
Oh yeah, you know that, and Chuck's quite the competitor. We know he comes in here and
yes,
he means business. He does not like to lose.
As someone who's had to do those interviews after he doesn't win, I know how big a competitor he is. I think when that happens, I am the least favorite person in Chuck Jagodzinski's world.
I know, you gotta stand back a couple steps just in case, because he does,
Exactly.
he's not like to lose.
So Kevin Bianco off to a good start. Remember, that's 6 wins in a row, which ties the Beat the Champ record. So a win in this match will give him a new record for consecutive wins. And we know how hard that has been to do, you know, just to maintain a high level of play and to do it sometimes through 2 different bowling centers, because that would be the case here, as Kevin won his first 4 at Alley Brandt and has now won 2 here at the Rapids Bowling Center. And generally, the guys who have had the long winning streaks have had to do it over 2 different places.
Right, and like you just said, that not only is it multiple places, but it's multiple stages of breakdown on the lane. So it's like not necessarily in the beginning when you get the fresh oil, or at the end when the oil starts to break down. It has just been a stumbling block for everyone to get to that 7th win. And it's really interesting.
Chuck Jagodzinski is from Lancaster, New York, 49 years old, a full-time employee of the Attica Correctional Facility. And that's a spare for Chuck here in the second frame. He is 6th overall in wins here on Beat the Champ with the 8 wins that I mentioned. We haven't seen Chuck in a while. We have not seen him since January when he bowled down at Jamestown. And Chuck knows what it's like to win consecutive matches. He won 5 in a row up at Jamestown in June of 2016.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that hang spot, or the strippy lane condition. Chuck drifts when he walks, and if you watch Chuck line up, he's lining up further to the right. It almost looks like he's going to be playing the outside of the lane, and he walks quite a bit to the left. And sometimes that can really, you know, make you a hair inconsistent, because you have to walk the same way all the time or you're going to miss your target. And obviously he's pretty good, but in this case he missed a little bit to the right and the ball didn't come back up.
So it's an open frame in the 3rd for Chuck Jagodzinski, and now to 21-year-old Kevin Bianco, full-time student from Tonawanda. This is his 15th year of bowling. And he has started with 3 consecutive strikes. And as we mentioned, the reigning Obenauer Masters champion, having defeated Brad Angelo in the finals of that very prestigious Western New York tournament. And you can see on the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, it's a great start for Bianco as he goes for 7 in a row. And once again lined up significantly to the left here, even on lane 27 as well. Whatever's working, it's working.
Well, I'm going to use a little term here that bowlers will understand, and it's called, and the term is wheelhouse. And there's some bowlers that, when they get into that spot, that sweet spot where they like to play and that suits their arm swing. Good shot by Chuck, but he's struggling a little bit to get to carry there. We call it, back to what I was saying, we call that your wheelhouse. Like when you're in that spot, and Kevin's in that sweet spot right now, then he's in his wheelhouse, and he's going to be tough to beat.
You know, and I think the experience for him from the Obenauer sort of makes you battle tested. You know, you have to win so many matches, you really don't have much of a chance to slip up if you want to win that match. And I think you almost feel like Kevin is treating this competition and this win streak as his own little mini Obenauer, which is just figure out a way to battle your way and keep winning and set a record and just stay on the show. Good strike for Chuck Jagodzinski in the 5th frame.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
See him hugging the rail on the left side of the lane. That's been his big adjustment as the conditions have altered a little bit here through the first show.
Now, point out there that he got that ball a little bit to the right of his target, but when you're in that right spot, you can get loose and you can actually create a little bit right and create a little bit left when you're in the right spot on the lanes. And he's away from that strippy hook spot there around the 10 board. So smooth sailing here for Kevin.
Currently a 44-pin advantage for Kevin Bianco, and going to be even more as he has gone 6 for 6 with strikes. Tell you what, he's getting better as this streak continues, as we've seen him now for the 2nd, 3rd time in the last 4 weeks. 6th frame, Chuck Jagodzinski, big deficit already. It's a nice way to cut into it.
Well, that's a nice double for Chuck right there. Very important time to have it.
3 in a row for Chuck Jagodzinski in frames 5, 6, and 7, trying to cut into that big margin of Kevin Bianco. Seventh frame now. Kevin is perfect through 6.
Definitely got right of his target on that one.
That's the first time he hasn't knocked them all down. Just a little, even though he's starting so much to the left, he just was a little bit to the right with the ball.
Yeah, so he could actually, he could cheat to that point, but he can't throw it to that point. What I mean is, his target is inside of that, and if he's around his target and the ball kind of just skates a little bit to the right, that's fine, but he actually threw it to that target. So it's not going to recover from there, but.
So it's a 9-pin open frame in the 7th for Kevin Bianco, and that reduces the deficit clearly, particularly with Chuck on a 3-in-a-row run, so.
Oh yeah, he's got this. If Chuck stays on this path, he's got it down to, you know, under 2 marks, under 20 pins. If you know, Chuck can continue to strike, so got a tighter match here.
Let's see what the bounce back is for Kevin. 9 pins, 10-pin hangs. So after 6 in a row to start this match, it's been open and at least spare here in frame number 8. Good start to our run here at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. 3 terrific balls. Oh, wow. You knew it right away, didn't you?
Yeah, that was inside.
You knew it right away. So just a gentle touch of the 10-pin.
Thank you.
Wow, that is a bowler's nightmare right there. Perfect shot to the pocket and 8-pin true tap. That is just a matter of the ball driving through and not taking out the 8, which it normally does. Can't throw it any better.
So Chuck recovers for the spare, but certainly saw a big opportunity to really cut into the league with a strike that he just did not get. So it's a 30-pin difference at the moment, heading to the 9th frame.
Well, as a fellow bowler, I can only say I feel his pain because that was a perfect shot.
Nothing
He
you
couldn't
can
have
do,
done anything
right?
any
Just
better.
nothing you can do. So here's a chance, I think, for Kevin to put this away here in the 9th frame. Big strike. 9th frame for Kevin Bianco.
So he needs a mark here on the 10th, and that'll finish it off.
Don't forget, qualifying is going on this weekend at Classic Lanes. It'll come up later today, Saturday. There's a 4 o'clock flight, and then flights all day on Sunday with our top 24 roll-off coming up Sunday night for next month's Beat the Champ.
And don't forget, there's that guaranteed spot for women, so women need to get out there and bowl.
And also our top qualifier gets the television from Dirt Cheap TV valued at $500. Chuck Jagodzinski won it this month here at the Rapids Bowling Center. So you've got a chance to do that as well too. So Kevin Bianco is going to finish this one in style with a couple of strikes, and he's got a few more opportunities, but he is on his way to a record. And another strike there for Kevin Bianco. What a way to put himself in the Beat the Champ record books with a 7th consecutive victory. First guy to ever do that on the history of this show, which is approaching 2 years now. No one has ever won 7 consecutive matches until now. Kevin Bianco is going to do that. This throw to post up his final score, and he ends it with a strike. Kevin Bianco with a 255 to beat Chuck Jagodzinski. It's a new Beat the Champ record, a 7th consecutive victory. 255 to 204 is the final score as Kevin Bianco gets the win over Chuck Jagodzinski. You were bowling really well, Chuck. That unlucky break in the 8th frame was key, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 8-pin should have left up, but I left 2 light 7s before that, so there's at least 50 to 60 pins I lost and count. So I carried those shots in the MAC, but didn't carry.
Yeah, it would have been a much different match. Jake from the Rapids Bowling Center's here.
All right, nice bowling, Chuck. Hope you had a good time.
Sue, you're with the man of the moment.
That elusive 7th win. It's been so difficult for someone to get across that threshold, and you have with great style. Now, I saw you move in a little bit. Talk a little bit about that adjustment.
Well, there was a little hang right, and I tried to get away from it by moving in so I could move my break point to the left, and it seemed to work out pretty good.
I said that was you were in your wheelhouse. Was I right?
Oh, yeah, that's where I eat.
All right, well, congratulations.
Yeah, that's the word of the day, and it seems very appropriate. Kevin Bianco is in the wheelhouse. Sue and I will wrap up a terrific start to our stay at the Rapids Bowling Center when we return right after this. Well, we know how many outstanding bowlers there are in Western New York, and we've seen so many of them on the show. It took a little while for Kevin Bianco to get here to the show, but since he's been on, it's amazing. He hasn't lost 7 in a row. What makes him so good?
Well, he's got all the elements of a great bowler, like a PBA quality bowler. He's got the knowledge of the game, he's got the physical ability, and he's got the smarts to put it all together. So that makes a great bowler.
You witnessed a little history, Janelle. It's always cool, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, we've seen it all at this point. Now we just have to see if he can carry it out and keep going for maybe 8.
I was going to say, I'm not sure we've seen it all from Kevin Bianco. He may have another 6 or 7 in him. He's got some pretty good challengers, including Mike Zarcone on next week's show. So we'll see if Kevin can keep the streak alive. That'll be next week on Beat the Champ. We thank you for watching this week's edition from the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls.